Today we are talking about the artist Jasiah. From trap metal to pop punk and even opera, Jasiah is always making hard-hitting tracks in very different ways. This is the evolution of Jasiah. Malachi Jasiah was born on October 19, 1996 in Dayton, Ohio, where he would grow up with his mother, father, and his 6 sisters. Even as a child, Jasiah was heavily exposed to music, with his father being a guitarist and his mother being a singer. His parents also would always be playing music around him, from Michael Jackson to J. Moss. Then in the 6th grade, Jasiah would begin to sing, and shortly after that, he would get into opera, which just spiraled into Jasiah loving all types of music, including K-pop, heavy metal artists such as Slipknot, and his father would get him into rappers such as Lil Wayne and DMX. Music quickly became Jasiah's outlet. He was quite an angry kid growing up, but singing always calmed him down. So instead of going to a normal high school, Jasiah went to Stivers School of the Arts, an art school that had a full studio in it. So in his freshman year, Jasiah would make his first ever SoundCloud under the name Free the Rapper, where he would upload his first ever song, Wordplay. Jasiah's original sound was way different, as he was more inspired by boom bap rap artists such as Hopsin and Eminem. Then, shortly after making his first song, Jasiah and a few others would start a collective called Midwest Movement. The collective was heavily inspired by the popular collectives at the time, such as Odd Future and Pro Era. The collective would also have decent success, with them performing a few shows and actually getting an audience of 100 people. However, just as quickly as the collective began, it ended, with all of them going their separate ways. Jasiah would end up going to Marietta College to study vocal performance and music theory. However, Jasiah hated school and only graduated high school with a 1.7 GPA. But Jasiah's father demanded that he go to college, and if Jasiah didn't go to college, Jasiah would be kicked out of the house. Then, in 2016, he would start his second SoundCloud, Jasiah. He would then begin posting some of his earliest trap metal tracks with songs such as Murked and Race. His early songs had all the generic tropes that most other trap metal tracks had from this era, with heavily distorted beats, low production, and that weird almost mumbling voice. Jasiah was also still using his other SoundCloud free, but was posting way different music compared to the Jasiah account. While Jasiah was clearly influenced by XXXTentacion, he is not the reason he started yelling in his songs. It was actually because of another artist, Cyber.
Cyber is the reason I started yelling.
Really?
Yeah.
So like, what, you just heard his music and you're like, oh, this goes crazy.
This shit goes insane. Like, it was just a way that, like, it felt like I was getting my emotions out, like his music, you know what I'm saying, for the first time. And then I just got into deeper, and I love his singing voice and shit too, but like, when I heard his yelling shit, I was just like, oh, fuck.
Then, 1 year later, a legend would die. On June 18th, 2018, XXXTentacion would die. And on that day, in X's honor, Jasiah would make a song called Rip X, which would use the Rip Roach beat. Then on April 4th, 2018, Jasiah would release his first EP, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, which had great songs such as Scratching My Dick in Publix, a real trap metal classic. Also, the album artwork really reminded me of old early 2000s mixtape covers from people like Soulja Boy and Lil B. However, Jasiah hadn't been doing well in college and decided to drop out, and when his father found out, he gave Jasiah only 2 months before he'd be kicked out of the house. Luckily, within those 2 months, a manager from Atlantic Records would reach out to Jasiah and offer him an opportunity he couldn't ignore. He offered Jasiah to be flown out to New York so they could discuss a possible record deal. Then, in August of 2018, Jasiah would get a record deal with Atlantic Records, and he would really start getting a buzz in the industry. And just after getting this record deal, Jasiah would release his song Shenanigans featuring Young Bands. This would be his first song to really blow him up, with the song going viral on TikTok. Then, for a few months, Jasiah would be quiet until on March 20th, 2019, a lyrical Lemonade video for his song Crisis would be posted. This was huge for Jasiah, especially around this time, people looked at Lyrical Lemonade as a place to find new up-and-coming artists. This is still to this day Jasiah's most successful song, with it having currently over 27 million views. However, unfortunately the song used a Courage the Cowardly Dog sample and the Spotify release was delayed till early 2020. Also, this crazy dude in the beginning of the video is NASCAR Aloe. Tell me if you want a video on him in the comments below. Then, on July 19th, 2019, Jasiah would release his first real project, I Am, which showed Jasiah's versatility, with the first song on the project Voices showing off his opera skills. Then with hard-hitting tracks such as Destructo Disc, and finally more mellow tracks like When I'm Gone. The project altogether was Jasiah flexing all of his talents. The project also had great features such as Travis Barker, the little drummer of Blink-182, and a feature from Cyber, the guy that literally inspired Jasiah to start yelling. This album really showed people that he wasn't someone trying to copy X, and that Jasiah had his own personality and style. Then on April 2nd, 2021, Jasiah released his album War, which was almost solely produced by Jasiah himself. The album also had amazing features from artists such as Rico Nasty and NASCAR Aloe. However, one highly anticipated feature was from Tokyo's Revenge on the song Spit, but when the EP came out, Tokyo's Revenge was nowhere to be found on the track. The reason for this is that just a few months before the EP's release, it was found out that Tokyo's Revenge was grooming underage girls, and promptly Jasiah took him off the track. Then on January 18th, 2022, Jasiah would drop his newest and latest project, The Lost Lands, which is an interesting project that is full of raw emotions, with certain tracks not even being 100% completed. Jasiah has described this project as something he made in the darkest times of his life, with him almost feeling like he was going insane at the time. And that basically wraps up Jasiah's story so far. Please subscribe and hit the bell, and comment an artist you want me to cover next.